Let me tell you something powerful today. The reason so many people struggle in love is not because they don't have beauty, not because they don't have charm, not even because they don't have love to give. It's because they don't have boundaries. And here's the truth. The moment you set one powerful boundary, you unlock a psychology that makes men chase you, respect you, and value you forever. Think about it. Every treasure in this world is protected. Gold is hidden deep underground. Diamonds are locked away. Even the sun, the source of all life, keeps its distance. Why? Because value is always protected by boundaries. So if you want to be seen as rare, if you want to be desired, if you want him to chase you instead of taking you for granted, you must become the woman who is not afraid to say, "This is where I draw the line." That single shift changes everything. It doesn't push men away, it pulls the right men closer. And today, I'm going to show you the psychology behind this, why this one boundary makes men chase you forever. Scarcity creates value. Let that sink in for a moment, because this isn't just psychology, it's the reality of life. Everything in this world that is rare, that is hard to find, that is not available at every corner, instantly rises in value. Think about it. Why does gold matter? It's just a shiny metal. But the moment the world realizes there isn't an unlimited supply of it, suddenly it becomes precious. Diamonds. Same thing. They don't feed you, they don't clothe you, but because they are scarce, because they are difficult to find, because they are not lying around on the street, people spend their whole lives chasing them. Now let me ask you, why is it that so many people in relationships give away their presence, their attention, their heart, like it's some everyday item on a supermarket shelf? And then they wonder why someone doesn't chase them, why someone doesn't fight for them, why someone doesn't value them. It's not because you're not worth it. It's because you made yourself too available, too easy, too predictable. Psychology is clear. What is abundant is taken for granted. What is scarce is desired. Imagine this in your daily life. Think about that one cafe in your city, where the line is always out the door. People wait an hour just to get a seat. Is it really that their coffee is so much better than every other cafe? Maybe. But the truth is, part of the magic is that not everyone can get in. There's a waiting list. There's anticipation. The scarcity itself creates demand. And once people finally get a table, they treat it like an event. They don't just sip that latte. They savor it. They Instagram it. They talk about it. Scarcity amplifies value. Now translate that to relationships. When a man feels like your time, your attention, your energy are given to just anyone, he doesn't stop to appreciate it. But when he feels that being with you requires effort, that he has to show up, that he has to earn the right to get close, suddenly he pays attention. Suddenly he values it. Suddenly he doesn't take it for granted. Scarcity is not about playing games. It's about respecting yourself enough to not be endlessly available. Think about it. Why do we always want what we can't easily have? It's human nature. A limited edition sneaker drops, and people camp outside the store for days. A new phone comes out, and people are willing to spend triple the price just to have it before anyone else. But when something is always there, always easy to access, we say, "I'll get it later." And we move on. Don't let that be the way someone sees your love. Don't let your heart be treated like an everyday discount item. Your love should be the limited edition. And here's the truth. This doesn't mean you have to hold back your affection or pretend you don't care. No. It means you give with standards. You give with boundaries. You give in a way that communicates. This is special. Not everyone gets this. If you want this, you better be intentional. When you do that, you activate a psychological shift inside him. He goes from casual to committed, from distracted to focused, from passive to chasing. Let me give you a simple daily life example. Imagine you have a friend who calls you every single day, for hours, with no boundaries. At first, you might pick up, but soon, you start to dread the call. You let it ring. You know why? Because it's too much. It's too available. Now imagine another friend, someone you don't get to see often, but every time you meet, it feels special. You cherish it. You remember it. You look forward to it. Same principle. Scarcity doesn't push people away. It makes them lean in closer. Now ask yourself, are you the everyday item or the rare treasure? Are you the cafe with empty tables, or the one with a line out the door? Because the answer determines how people treat you. And this isn't about arrogance. It's about recognizing your own worth and being bold enough to protect it. When you make your energy scarce, when you stop giving endless chances, when you stop showing up for people who won't show up for you, you rise in value. You stop chasing, and they start chasing. Remember this, men. Don't fall in love with the woman who gives the most. They fall in love with the woman whose love feels like a privilege to earn. And that privilege comes from scarcity. Scarcity doesn't mean being cold, it means being selective. Scarcity doesn't mean withholding love, it means giving love where it's honored. Scarcity doesn't mean being unavailable, it means being unavailable for nonsense. So today, I want you to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, why isn't he chasing me? Start asking, have I made myself too available? Have I forgotten that my time is valuable? Have I treated my own love like a rare diamond or like loose change? Because the moment you choose to see yourself as rare, others will too. The moment you create scarcity, you create desire. And here's the most powerful part. Once you understand this principle, you don't need to force anyone to chase you. They will. They'll feel it. They'll know it. And the wrong ones will walk away. But the right one, the one who sees your value, will chase you with everything he's got. Respect. That's the foundation of every real relationship. Without respect, love becomes fragile, passion fades, and commitment dies. And here's the truth most people don't realize. Respect isn't given for free. It's earned through the boundaries you create. The moment you allow someone to cross every line, to treat you however they please, to walk in and out of your life with no consequences, you are teaching them how little they need to respect you. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are doors that teach people how to come in. Think about this in your everyday life. Imagine a boss who allows their employees to show up late every day with no consequence. At first, it might feel like freedom, but over time, no one takes that boss seriously. Why? Because there are no standards. On the other hand, a boss who sets clear expectations, who says, this is how we do things here, that boss is respected. The employees may complain, but deep down, they know there is leadership, structure, and authority. People don't respect what comes without limits. In relationships, it's the same. A man cannot fully love what he does not respect. He might enjoy the convenience, he might take the comfort, but respect comes when he realizes there are lines that cannot be crossed. When you have the courage to say, no, I will not tolerate this behavior. No, I will not accept less than I deserve. No, I will not give you all of me when you're giving me the bare minimum. That's the moment he sits up straight. That's the moment he realizes you are not like everyone else. That's the moment he sees your worth. Look around at life. Why do we respect certain places? Why do we whisper in a library, dress up to go to a luxury hotel, or stand tall when entering a courtroom? It's not because those places told us to love them. It's because those places demanded respect through the rules they created. The library says silence. The hotel says elegance. The court says order. And because of those boundaries, we shift our behavior. Now, imagine what happens when you create that same energy in your personal life. When a man walks into your world, he should feel the unspoken expectation that this is not a place for games, for disrespect, for carelessness. He should feel that your standard changes the way he shows up. Boundaries don't push people away. They attract the right ones closer. Think about the times in your life when someone told you, no. Maybe it was a mentor. Maybe it was a parent. Maybe it was even a stranger. You didn't always like it in the moment, but later you respected it. Because a no communicates self-respect, and self-respect is magnetic. It's powerful. It makes people lean in. Now, I know many people fear setting boundaries because they think, if I say no, he'll leave. If I set a standard, he'll lose interest. But let me flip that question. If he leaves because you refuse to be disrespected, was he ever the right man to begin with? Think about it. If your boundary scares someone off, they were never going to give you the respect you deserved anyway. But if your boundary makes him step up, makes him adjust, makes him grow, that's a man who values you. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you're always available for his calls. He cancels plans last minute, and you forgive him every time. He doesn't follow through, and you let it slide. What happens? He learns he can do anything without consequence. Not because he's a bad person, but because you trained him that way. Now imagine the opposite. He cancels last minute, and you calmly say, "I understand, but my time is valuable. Let's try again when you're serious." You don't yell, you don't beg, you simply set a boundary. Suddenly, he realizes, I can't play with her. She values herself too much. That's respect. Boundaries are not about punishment, they're about education. You're teaching people how to treat you. You're teaching them the level at which you expect to be valued. And when you hold to that standard, people rise to meet it. Some will walk away, and that's fine, because every no you give to the wrong person creates space for the right person to walk in. There's a saying that goes, we teach people how to treat us. And it's true. Every time you ignore bad behavior, you're saying, this is okay. Every time you let disrespect slide, you're saying, I accept this. But every time you stand firm, you're saying, if you want me in your life, respect is the price of admission. And that price is what separates you from being just another option to being the one he values above all else. Respect is not born in comfort. It is born in the boundaries you create. And here's the beautiful thing: once respect is established, love has room to grow deeper, trust has room to strengthen, and passion has room to last. Because love without respect is fragile, but love with respect becomes unbreakable. So ask yourself today, where have I allowed disrespect to creep in? Where have I lowered my standards just to keep someone around? And more importantly, where do I need to draw the line? Because the moment you set that boundary, everything changes. The wrong people leave, the right people rise, and your life becomes filled with relationships built not on convenience, but on true respect. One of the most liberating truths you can ever embrace in relationships is this: boundaries don't just protect you, they filter for you. They act like a magnet that draws the right people closer while pushing the wrong ones away. And you know what? That's not rejection, that's protection. So many people waste years of their lives trying to hold on to people who were never meant for them, simply because they were afraid to set boundaries. They feared that if they said no, if they asked for more, if they demanded respect, the person might leave. But here's the paradox. The people who are wrong for you will leave when you set boundaries, and that's exactly the point. Think about it like this. Imagine you own a nightclub. At the door, there's a bouncer. The bouncer has one job: to check IDs and make sure that only people who meet the standard get inside. Now imagine if that bouncer wasn't doing his job. Suddenly, anyone can walk in. Trouble starts. The wrong people fill the room. Chaos takes over. And the real VIPs, they don't even want to be there anymore. Boundaries are your bouncer. They are the filter that ensures the people in your life are the ones who truly deserve to be there. Let me give you a real life example. Say you're dating someone who constantly cancels plans last minute, who gives you excuses instead of effort, who only shows up when it's convenient. If you don't have boundaries, you'll keep saying yes, you'll keep forgiving, you'll keep hoping they change. But with boundaries, you respond differently. You say, listen, my time is valuable. If you can't commit, I can't keep doing this. Now one of two things will happen. They will either step up and respect your time, or they will drift away. And if they drift away, that's your filter working. That's your boundary saving you months, maybe years, of wasted energy. Boundaries are not about keeping people out. They're about letting the right people in. Picture your heart like a garden. If you leave the gate wide open, weeds, pests, and anything unwanted can come in and destroy the beauty you've built. But if you set a fence, if you draw a line, suddenly only those who respect the gate, who value the garden, who want to nurture it, are allowed in. That's the difference. Without boundaries, anyone has access. With boundaries, only those who care enough to respect them get close. Here's the psychology behind it. People reveal their intentions when they meet your boundary. If a man is only there for convenience, your boundary will expose him. The moment he realizes he can't take shortcuts, he'll leave. But if a man is truly interested, your boundary won't scare him. It will inspire him. Because the right man doesn't see your standard as a wall, he sees it as a challenge worth rising to. Let's be honest. Many people waste years being almost loved. They settle for the text that comes only at night. They settle for the dates that are always on his terms. They settle for being an option, not a priority. And they tell themselves, maybe if I give more, he'll change. But giving more doesn't change the wrong person. It only empties you. The only thing that creates clarity is a boundary. When you say, this is what I need, this is what I deserve, and if you can't give it, I will walk away, you filter instantly. The ones who are there for selfish reasons disappear, and the ones who are serious lean in. Think about this in business. Imagine you're selling a product. If you price it too low, everyone buys it. People who don't care, who waste it, who throw it away. But the moment you set a higher price, people hesitate. Only those who really value it, who really need it, who are willing to commit, will invest. The higher the standard, the more qualified the customer. Your love works the same way. Your boundary is the price of admission, and the wrong men won't pay it. But the right man will, gladly. I want you to see your boundaries as your greatest gift, not your greatest fear. Because every time someone walks away when you set a standard, that's not a loss. That's clarity. That's the universe saving you from years of frustration. That's the filter doing its job. Without boundaries, you'll spend your life guessing, wondering, questioning. With boundaries, the truth reveals itself quickly. And the truth, no matter how painful in the moment, is always better than living in an illusion. So the next time you're afraid to set a boundary because you don't want to lose someone, remember this: if they leave because you asked for respect, you never had them in the first place. You had their convenience, not their commitment. You had their company, not their care. And you are not here to be someone's convenience. You are here to be someone's choice. When you honor yourself with boundaries, you send a powerful message. I know my worth, and I will not settle for less. And that message doesn't just filter out the wrong men. It attracts the right one. Because the man who is truly meant for you will never be intimidated by your standards. He will be grateful for them. He will rise to them. He will chase you not because you were easy to get, but because you were worth the effort. Boundaries are not barriers. They are invitations to the right people, and they are filters for the wrong ones. The moment you embrace that truth, you stop fearing who leaves and start celebrating who stays. And when someone stays through your boundaries, you know they are staying for the real you. Not for what they can take, but for what they can give, and for what they can build with you. Emotional investment is the heartbeat of any lasting relationship. Without it, everything stays shallow. Without it, someone may like you, they may enjoy your company, but they will never truly value you. And here's the psychology that most people overlook: boundaries are what create emotional investment. When you make someone earn their way into your world, when you don't just hand over your time, your heart, your love without thought, you force them to invest in you. And the more they invest, the more they value. Think about it in everyday life. Imagine you download a free app on your phone. You might use it once or twice, maybe delete it, maybe forget about it. No big deal. You didn't pay anything for it. But now imagine you paid for an app, even a small amount. Suddenly, you're using it more. You're exploring every feature. You're not so quick to delete it. Why? Because you invested something in it, and people protect what they invest in. That's human psychology, and in relationships, it's the exact same thing. When you set boundaries, you require a man to put in effort, to put in time, to put in consistency. And the moment he invests, he starts valuing you differently. Look at the gym. The first time you pay for a membership, you might complain about the price. But once you've paid, once you've committed, you're more likely to show up. You think, I better get my money's worth. That commitment pulls you in deeper. That's how humans work. We care more about the things we've had to work for. And if you want a man to truly value your presence, your love, your soul, you must give him the opportunity to invest in it. That's what your boundaries do. They create the effort that creates the attachment. Now, I want you to think about the opposite. When you give everything away too quickly, your time, your energy, your attention, what happens? At first, he may enjoy it, but soon he doesn't value it. It becomes expected. It becomes normal. And eventually, it becomes taken for granted. Not because you're not amazing, but because he didn't have to invest anything to get it. The truth is, we don't value what comes too easy. We value what comes with effort. Let me give you an example you've seen in real life. Imagine someone who wins the lottery. They get millions overnight. And studies show that most of them lose it within a few years. Why? Because they didn't work for it. They didn't invest. Now, think about the person who spends years building a business from the ground up, every late night, every sacrifice, every risk. When that person becomes wealthy, they hold on to it. They guard it. They respect it. Why? Because they invested so much into it. That's what your love is. That's what your presence is. And if you give it away like a lottery ticket, people won't value it. But if they earn it, if they have to invest, they will guard it like treasure. Boundaries are not about being difficult. They are about creating space for someone to invest. When you say, "No, I don't accept last-minute plans," you're inviting him to plan ahead. That's investment. When you say, "I need consistency, not excuses," you're inviting him to show up regularly. That's investment. When you say, "My heart is not available to someone who isn't serious," you're inviting him to commit. That's investment. And every time he invests, he gets more attached, more connected, more emotionally bonded. Have you ever noticed that the things you had to work the hardest for are the things you're proudest of? That degree you studied late nights for, that promotion you fought for, that car you saved years to buy, the struggle, the effort, the sacrifice made the reward sweeter. That's why boundaries are so powerful. They create that same psychology in love. A man who has to invest emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even physically to be with you will treasure you in a way he never would if you were simply handed to him without effort. And let me be clear, this isn't about manipulation. This isn't about playing games. This is about knowing your worth and inviting others to rise to it. When you set a boundary, you're saying, if you want this, you need to put something in. And that's not selfish. That's how real connection is built. Because relationships are partnerships, and without investment from both sides, it collapses. Think of your boundaries as the soil in which love grows. If the soil is too loose, the roots never take hold. The plant is weak, it can be pulled out easily. But when the soil is firm, when the roots have to push, to stretch, to grow into it, the plant becomes strong, unshakable. Your boundaries are that firm soil. They force effort, and that effort creates strength. And once that bond is there, once those roots are deep, the love becomes harder to break. So ask yourself, are you letting people skip the process of investment? Are you giving the harvest without asking them to plant any seeds? Are you handing over the reward without requiring the effort? Because if you are, you're robbing yourself of the chance to be truly valued. And the moment you change that, the moment you create boundaries that demand investment, everything shifts. The wrong ones will walk away, and that's good because they never wanted to invest anyway. But the right one, the one who sees your worth, will step up. He will chase. He will invest. And in the process, his love for you will grow deeper, stronger, unshakable. Because what we invest in, we protect. What we fight for, we value. And what we value, we never let go.